And what's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. I have Bo in the middle, Stat Guy on the other side, and Jay, we feel like is swimming in the new Gulf of Mexico that he has in his backyard. What's up today, guys? How you guys doing?
Great. Great.
Good, good. How about you?
It's Friday. We swept out
Got
the
this
world
week.
champions, which I thought was amazing. You know, like all those Texas people that came in thinking that, hey, yeah, we haven't lost to them in 10 years. It's not going to be nothing but a thing. Well, that thing, they had a whole 8 runs scored to our 21,
Nice.
21-8, all
Doing
three of the
work.
games. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. They've won 29 of their last 35 games.
No, it's crazy. I mean, they're on a tear. It's impressive to watch, actually.
The only team that has a better record over 50 games is, of course, that Seattle Mariners team that went 38-14.
Oh yeah, yeah. That for the 116 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And right now, we are projected, if we were to stay on this pace, I think it was somewhere around 119 wins that we would break the record. Uh,
that'd be amazing.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm being realistic. There's ups and flows with everything.
Yep.
And
I think you can be a 100-win team though.
oh, I think 100 wins is small thinking now. We should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 108.
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, and I think that that's not really unrealistic at this point. They're playing great baseball. They
And you've beat
are,
good teams, so it's not like you're only beating up on bad teams.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the Rangers are actually pretty good,
Yeah,
albeit they're a little injured right now.
sure.
So, I mean, obviously, we're going out to play Colorado now, San Francisco. These teams stink. And then we come back and get St. Louis, who kind of stinks still. And then Milwaukee, which is a really good series. It would be a nice measuring stick along for, I think, Milwaukee, as well as seeing Reese Hoskins come back. That's going to be a big series for a lot of reasons and a lot of different things that are going to go on with that specific.
If he plays that series, though,
I think he's supposed to come back for that series.
it's a hammy, though. We'll see. Hamstring injuries are always fun.
They do have a tendency to linger.
They do. But, and so, but either way, I think right now that they could actually, I mean, they are on pace to do some really awesome things.
Mhm.
And of course, the more wins you do now, the less you have to do at the end of the season. We're 6.5 games up on the Braves right now, who are a pretty good team. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out here.
Yeah, no.
Moving
I
forward.
mean, the Braves are good. The Braves are, and that's why I said you guys have beat good teams. So it's not like you're only out there beating the White Sox and stuff like that. Like you're actually beating competent teams. Obviously, you're going to go beat up on some bad teams here next, but I mean, you got to beat those teams too, right? They're on the schedule, so you got to beat them. But and then on the Mariners side, they did exactly what they needed to do, right? They split with the Yankees. They take 1 of 3 with Baltimore. That's a good showing, right? Like that's a decent road trip. Obviously, they're going to finish this road trip out with the Nationals, which I would expect them to win that series.
It would be good if they did. The Nationals aren't that bad though,
They're
and
not a
they're
bad team.
playing, and
Yeah.
and they're playing some good ball right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. I kind of think that you'll split the first two, and then that last game will determine on whether you guys will actually break 500 for this this road trip, or come back 2 games under
Yeah.
uh, from going out. Either way, wouldn't be so bad. I guess it's kind of a little frustrating that you won the first 2 games of this series and then scored an entire 3 runs over the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Which is kind of frustrating. But
Yes.
ultimately, going going 3-4 in the 7 against, they said, both of those teams, I think actually says more about your team right now
Yeah.
than
It actually, this 7-game stretch, despite the fact that they, you know, didn't win either series, right? Like they break even on one and they lose the other, but their performance through it um, makes you think maybe my prediction was low, right? So um,
you're
again,
saying maybe 85, 86 wins now.
it's possible. It's possible. I'm not really moving my mark just because I've watched this team a long time, but I can give some optimism to the people that hold the 80 plus win thought in their head. I can see how you can get there because they're playing well against really good teams, right? Like these aren't decent teams. Like these are teams that are battling for or are leading their divisions. And so, I mean, that that's a real test, especially when you're on the road. So for them to perform the way they did, it definitely gives you some optimism as far as what it is they might be able to do this year.
Yeah, it will be interesting. As I was planning my trip out to Seattle today, this morning, I was just saying, okay, what am I going to do? Just so happens that I am friends with Brian Quinn of Candlebox, and they're going
Okay.
to be playing in Denver on August 1st. So I'm going to take a trip out to Denver, then to Seattle,
Nice.
then to LA,
Okay.
and catch
Cool
4
road.
games, hopefully 4 games in that set. So
Nice.
it'll be
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be fun. So we got to get definitely tickets for the 3 games in
Yep.
Seattle because I expect that I am going to be there. I'll be arriving hopefully at in Seattle at 8 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
on the 2nd.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
if I make my flight because it's going to probably be a long night hanging with Bush and Candlebox
Fair enough.
in Denver, nonetheless. So, but I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I may not even get a place to stay. I may just put my bags somewhere in backstage and just go right to the airport afterwards and take a nap at the airport.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, rather than even get a room because if you go to sleep, you may not wake up. You got to get the alarm, then you got to get an Uber, and
Yep.
just say, you know what? Let me just leave my bags here at the airport and go Uber and just check in like 12 hours early for my flight, which I think you can do, actually. I think it would actually be the perfect thing to have happen. So
What, and just
just,
crash at the airport?
well, actually wait till I can check in for my next flight and then leave from the airport to go to the concert and then just come back from the concert to the airport.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, I can't ask the tour buses to, hey, can you guys drop me off at the airport? I'll just Uber back.
I
Like,
mean,
hey, I know you guys got to go to Utah, but maybe it's on the way. So, but yeah, so, and ultimately I'm doing that, and I may do a Kansas City trip
yeah.
and actually go see the Bears play the Chiefs in preseason game and then take a 3-game set with the Phillies and Royals.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a fun trip.
Yeah, that's later in August. Lots of stuff going on. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to do all this stuff, and I'm always looking for sponsors to help with that. So if any sponsors want to sponsor me, I could say this trip is brought to you by,
Yeah, exactly.
which would be awesome. Brad, the Phillies are going to win all 3 games against the Rockies. In
Oh, yeah.
fact, I believe right now the way that the Phillies are starting to hit the ball, that the Phillies could break records of how many home runs they hit in a 3-game series against the Rockies. That's what I think. But enough about the Phillies right now. there was some interesting information that came out yesterday with the NCAA. Couple of things actually. One, that they're paying everybody off, I think, is what this is. It was
That's what it sounds like.
a $2.8 billion antitrust settlement. They're like, yep, we're going to solve this problem. And then did I hear something specific that you sent over to me, Stat Guy, that these the conferences
Yeah,
are
going
going
to
to
start
be
paying people.
Yeah, the Power Five conferences are going to start paying all their athletes now. Just to basically compete with the NIL, I guessing.
actually I first off, I like that idea so much better than the NIL.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, however, are they going to cap these guys?
I have no
Like,
idea.
or
It
is
is-
it, can you get a super team now because you're going to be the one paying everybody?
Well, I mean, you can probably get it. You can probably get a super team on transfers,
Sure.
but I don't know how that's. Let me see if I can find this out.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in the article that specified that. But to be fair, I didn't I skimmed it. I didn't divulge a ton of time for it.
And would it have to? My initial thoughts on this, where I get drawn, is that, all right, you have a student, because beyond everything else, they have to attend the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So they are a student. You have this student who signs a 4-year contract for the school
Okay.
and then goes and tries to get into the transfer portal because he doesn't like the school for whatever reason. Does that become a breach of contract? Do they get
Probably.
sued? Does this all become a big deal and a fight? Does the other school take on the contract? Is it like, there's so many things that get in, like, and then you go from conference to conference. Is this a conference thing? Is this an NIL thing? There's so many questions that I have.
Can the schools start trading people?
Right. Exactly. At what point does the schools have the right to be able to do something? And
So,
then,
so each school gets to share $20 million per year with their athletes.
Oh, so it's up to them to distribute
So
how
it's
they
up to
want.
them to distribute how they want, but each school in these Power Five conferences can divvy out $20 million to their athletes each year. So roughly $80 million per, basically, if you're on a 4-year contract with the school.
One, of course, at the end of the day, it's not going to get rid of the NIL.
no, in fact, it's not even enough.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one contract we were just talking about was 13.8 million, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
But that's one player.
Exactly.
So,
And then
yeah,
what kind of resentment does that team have if the team is paying somebody like that and everybody else is getting nothing? Right? Like, what does that do in the locker room?
let's go down to even a more basic. I mean, typically you have 90 guys on a football team
Exactly.
in college, and you got your starters. Say your starters all get $1 million apiece. Now you got 22 million. Yeah, 22 million. I guess you're talking about it's going to be somewhere around 900,000 apiece.
Sure.
So to get to the 20 million. Now anybody who's a backup ain't getting nothing.
Yep.
You know, well, they still get a free ride. And ultimately, if you're paying the money, should they get a scholarship? I don't know. I don't feel like that they should.
I mean, if they do, I would imagine there's a cutoff, right? Like, I would imagine if you're getting that 500 plus K, maybe you don't. But if you're under that, maybe you do. You know, like, I'm sure there's going to be a line where it's like, okay, we're going to give you this, but at this point, you got to pay for your own schooling.
Yeah.
So we can then give our scholarship to somebody else, right?
And then the other question becomes, all right, so they got a deal with the school. Can the NIL still give them money?
I think they will be able to, because it'll be almost impossible to put that genie back in the bottle there.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very odd situation.
I mean, they just keep finding ways to make it messier.
Well, I think that the conferences itself see the problem. And my thought is that $20 million is for the rest of the teams that aren't getting NIL. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it is. That $20 million is allowing. Uh, okay, we got 10 guys that got NIL deals. You got 80 other guys on the team that don't have anything that are
Mhm.
going to become very resentful. You know,
Yeah,
I
but
got to imagine the starting quarterback of Texas is all pissed off at Manning, and he hasn't thrown a ball yet.
no,
Right.
for sure. But I also don't see it working that way where it's for the other guys because it's not like you couldn't. It's not like they're going to be able to not give that main guy money, right? Because then he's going to be like, well, this other school on top of my NIL is going to pay me also. So, I think it's just going to be a problem. It's going to be fun to watch because the NCAA does things poorly all the time. So it's kind of fun to watch them burn a little bit.
Well, this is not the NCAA. That's the thing. The NCAA is going to be sitting back with marshmallows too.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is per school. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So
NCAA is allowing it, is I guess my point there, is because before the NCAA was like absolutely no paying students, right? They're student athletes, student first. They're not pros. Although in doing this, I think it forces their hand with that amateurism rule, right? Because now you are a paid person. I think that pretty much blows that amateurism rule out of the water, which is
Yeah.
something I thought they should have got rid of as soon as the NIL came around anyway. And if they get rid of it, it makes the other products better, right? Like you're going to see some of these college kids that maybe want some off-season work go to the UFL or, some of these D1 guys that aren't starters, right? That need some extra work within their game. Maybe if it gets rid of this amateurism rule, especially now that they're actually paying people, maybe you see a little bit more development out of some of these college kids and it allows them to still get their degrees.
Right.
well, and then plus I think that you're going to wind up seeing career college students now.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
you still have your eligibility length of time.
that I thought that started to go out the window too. That you can have now 6 or 7 years of eligibility if you're going to be in a master's program or in a doctorate program, that you could still play now.
Oh, I thought that was mostly influenced because of the COVID weird years.
Well, look at the guy that's playing for the Miami Hurricane this year. He got his 9th year of eligibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, some of that has to do with if you never played, right? Like you can have a year of eligibility moved forward if you were technically on the team, but you didn't do anything, right? So there's been ways to finesse it forward, but I know a lot of these guys that played more years than you've been able to in the past were those careers were influenced by the COVID years where they were, just weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to wind up having certain situations occur where like you have this guy who's got his 9th year of eligibility, and if he was any good, he would be breaking all ridiculous types of like everything
Records.
would be
Yep,
broken against
of course.
most reception yards, most rushing yards, most anything. If you have somebody who's going to be making a certain amount of money in college and not have to go to the pros, I mean, obviously you'd want to go to the pros, but if you're making $10 million in college, do you
Well,
need to
you're
go
not
to the
heartbroken
pros?
if you don't make it, right?
In
Like if you
fact,
don't make it, but you're like, hey, I've still made $30 million over my career. You're not sad about it.
No, not at all.
well, and not only that, but like think about that. So you're getting $10 million in college, and then you have to take a rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for the pros, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't leave as early.
So you're going to take a pay cut to go to the
Yeah.
pros, and in a spot. Then after that, say you go to the pros for a few years and you don't cut it, can you go back to college?
Well, that becomes the question, right? Because now that the school is going to be paying them, that's why I think that amateurism rule gets thrown out the window because you're no longer amateurs, right? Not only do you have your NIL, but you are a paid player by the school. That makes you a pro. right? Like that's the definition of pro is you're getting paid to do it. So,
Right.
I mean, you can't really have it both ways. You can't be like, oh yeah, you're kind of an amateur pro. Like what the hell is that? So, I mean, you're either getting paid to play or you're not.
And where does the line get drawn? Is it $20 million across all sports? Just football? Can you pay a certain track star $1 million because he's the best in the league? Or
I mean,
best in
I guess I read it with the football intent behind it, but you know, I guess I don't know that it necessarily specified that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about that because football rules the world. But
it does. It definitely
ultimately,
rules my mind. So, so I didn't really think about, you know, maybe it could have been volleyball or something that they could. I mean, and who knows? They probably will throw money that way. But if they're splitting it between all sports, all of a sudden that number is nothing.
way too
20 million
small.
is $0.
Exactly. You know, it's not enough for anything.
Especially if it's a big school where you have all the sports. I mean, that means what? Your players are going to make like 10 grand.
I mean, how are you going to disperse that $20 million in Alabama,
No, exactly.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Like, how do you disperse that? I mean, that's just not happening. You know what I mean? Go with a place like Arizona that has a pretty good football team and a pretty good basketball team,
Sure.
you know, and I believe a pretty good baseball team.
Well, what about schools like UCLA who have good teams in all kinds of sports, right? Like they're great at gymnastics. They have volleyball teams. They have all these sports that they're actually pretty good. Softball. I mean, so then all of a sudden, what, everybody's making 15 grand a year? I mean, that's not enticing anybody to come over.
No. And is it $20 million per sport? So it's going to be interesting to see how this does really play out. I'm not sure how to all work, but like I said, I have my marshmallows ready.
Absolutely.
Because there is going to be definitely a dumpster fire that goes along with it.
Yeah, I like what college sports is doing. They just keep throwing tires on the fire. They're like, oh, we made a bad situation. Cool. Let's throw some gas on it.
It's still not getting any better. Let's throw some more gas on it.
Exactly.
And, all right, because I'm done talking about the NCAA. We'll see how that all plays out as we go forward here. I'm going to go back to baseball for a minute. Did you guys see the play for the White Sox with the White Sox and how that game ended?
Yeah.
I didn't.
All right. So what occurred was there was a man on first and second. There was an infield fly. The guy started
where he checked it over his head because the guy ducked.
No.
Oh no, that was the Rangers.
Oh no, that was a toss, and the guy.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was.
Anyway, go ahead.
Now this was. There's a man on first and second, one out. There is an infield fly rule called.
Okay.
So pop fly in the infield. Yep. The guy takes a couple of steps off a second, and then just starts kind of going backwards, watching the ball but going backwards. The third baseman or the shortstop has to get around the guy at second because ultimately, because he's walking back and it's not really paying attention to where anybody else is at.
Oh, so he's interfering.
It's called an interference.
Sure.
The interference is called game over. They're calling him out at second base, like he didn't get out of the way. Now, he didn't.
But there was only one out.
Yeah.
So one out.
The infield fly to the batter's out, and then
so he still caught the ball.
Right.
Still caught the ball, counted as double play. Okay, I got you. Well, I mean,
even if he went to caught the ball, it still would have been a double play. Because when the infield fly is called, that batter's automatically out.
Correct.
So if the guy chooses not to catch the ball, the game would have still been over because they called interference on the other runner.
Yeah.
So, and it was just, it was a bad call, just ridiculous call. and it's making me wonder more and more, how does MLB have to start to review calls like that? Because that wouldn't have been a reviewable call anyways, because that becomes
No,
umpire
but I mean,
discretion.
if if he got in the way,
He didn't really get in the way. He got in the way, but he's doing his thing. You know,
okay,
the runner, he's in the base path.
Mm-hmm.
He's not out of the base path. He's
Mm-mm.
not deliberately impeding the player to go after the
okay,
ball. If you look it up, you'll kind of see it.
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
It's a ridiculous call,
Yeah.
and they conferred, and then they kept with it. They're like, "Yep, yeah, the one guy called it, the other guy it did it." So
I mean, Junior Valentine's the one that made that call too, and he's had a pretty rough week of umpiring this week.
yeah, well,
I
he
like
was
the
the one that
thumbnail
had the
for it is the manager just pissed.
Well, because he had the Chicago Cubs series against Pittsburgh over the weekend in Chicago, and then he just went across town for the Baltimore series this week, and he's had quite an interesting week calling games in Chicago. Let's just say that.
all
Thank
against
God, I
Chicago,
appreciate
right?
that.
Like all these
Yeah,
calls went against.
all the calls went against Chicago. There, like Council got ejected on Friday for literally like he was like stuck his hands out of the dugout and was pointing to something. He was pointing to his third base coach, and Junior Valentine kicked him out of the game, saying he was pointing at him. So like, oh, that's a good start to the week. And then they called the guy out at second base on Saturday when the second baseman didn't even have the ball in his glove and wasn't even standing on the base. They called the runner out on that play, and it ended up being a double play. And then he just had a horrible day behind home plate on Sunday for the
Oh,
Cubs.
that is a weak. That is a weak interference. Like he was literally watching the ball walking back to the bag.
Right.
I mean, that one's pretty dumb. That one's pretty dumb. I was imagining something much more egregious than that.
Isn't it about time they get held responsible?
Well, and how are you going to beat up on a bad team? Like, come on. Like that's the I understand you're laying on the mat and you're bleeding out, but I'm just going to punch you in the nose one last time for good measure. Like you weren't probably going to win anyway, but we're going to make sure you can't.
I mean, in their defense, it was 8-2 heading into the ninth inning. They scored 4 runs without getting an out.
And
And they had two
they have
on
2
with
men
one out.
on.
Yeah, and they had 2 with 1 out. So
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible for sure, but I mean, yeah, that was a weak call. That was a weak call.
So and at what point does MLB have to step in?
When it starts affecting viewers, otherwise they don't care. Right? Like if the ratings start to dip, but I mean, they don't seem to be. Not that the ratings are what they used to be. I mean, they're way behind what they were, but
yeah,
but I don't think these bad calls are affecting the ratings as they sit today.
Yeah, but is it possible you could start losing gambling money because of people not wanting to gamble on baseball anymore because they are too affected by the referees or the umpires?
I probably not, only because yes, they suck, but they suck for everybody, right? So even though they negatively affect the game, they kind of just ruin the game for all the teams, right? Like they don't seem to favor a team. They'll favor a team in a game, but you can't rely on that all year long. So I don't know that it'll necessarily long-term affect the gambling. I think in moments you'll be mad about it, but then the next week the calls will randomly go your way. It'll be like last year in the playoffs when the strike zone gets bigger. It affected one team one day, affected a different team a different day. So
right.
Does it affect your bets that game? Sure. Does it affect them long-term? Probably not.
That's not nice, Frankie.
Man.
Just because you're all excited that your Yankees were able to pull out a series tie against Seattle, it's the only team that you could actually claim a little bit kind of. Although you live in like Connecticut or something, don't you? Massachusetts or New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's right. It's called gambling for a reason. Yep, you're not wrong,
Exactly.
Wen.
And listen, I do not lose money on gambling because
It's true.
I am not gambling on sports. I'm just not doing it. I realized that I'm a bad gambler.
At least not real gambling. We'll
Right.
gamble stupid stuff with our friends.
Exactly. Like I bet somebody yesterday, I bet somebody $1 that I was older than them by at least 8 years.
Okay.
I won the dollar.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Me and
then
my
just
buddy
skipped
Scott,
to
we
it.
do dollar bets all the time.
Yeah.
Especially if we're like watching a Mariners game or Seahawk game. We'll do dumb bets while we're sitting at the bar, like who's going to score first, if, all of that. And, we'll bring like 10, $15 and basically we'll push it across the table to each other throughout the game. And then that's it. But it's fun. As opposed to real
exactly.
gambling where you just lose money generally.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thing. I'm not gambling that much, so it doesn't matter to me that much that I'm gambling.
Yeah.
But either way,
it's like 10, $15 in dollars.
exactly. That's nothing, and that's about it. And that's about it. So
well, you don't even bet buying someone a beer anymore because sometimes that can be more than the dollar bets. Let me buy you a beer. That's $20. Wait, what?
or shots. Yeah, I can't do shots.
Yep.
Frankie, don't cry that I have a better record than you and that your Yankees barely got past Seattle. So I don't hear it. We have the best record in baseball. We are the best team in baseball, and your team stinks. That's okay. It's all right.
I like
just because you got some wins, your team sucks, and it's not going to even be in first place. The Orioles are going to overtake you guys.
No, I like that Frankie has chosen violence this Friday morning. At least you're consistent. You're just spreading the hate out.
Yeah, I don't care if they got everybody hurt. They're the world champs. They came in here and they found out what it's like to get swept. You know what, Frankie? Let's talk about that at the end of the year because when we win that ring, I'm going to have you come on and I'm going to shove it up your ass that we beat you guys. I hope we beat you guys because I hope you guys make it there because I think you guys are going to get shit on by the Orioles and the Orioles are going to wind up in the World Series. So don't even tell me there, Frankie. I got you. And when we win that ring, you're going to come on here and having to listen to it because you only got one ring that you've been alive for with your Yankees and you bandwagon every other sport, so I don't even want to hear it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, hold on. The Astros beat your Yankees, right? That's right. When they won the World Series, they beat your Yankees too, right? Because you guys couldn't cheat well enough. That they were cheating better than you guys. Wah, 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 Frankie. Wah, wah, wah. That's what you got.
Oh, man. That's fantastic.
Go jump on a bandwagon. I hear that the Washington Nationals are starting to play pretty good, too. I know how you like jumping on bandwagons for all these stupid-ass teams.
I like that we went from coast to coast to go fuck yourself. It's the best.
Anyway, so yeah. In other news, obviously the Celtics went up 2-0 in their series. We have hold on. Do you like the Celtics now too, Frankie? Because you're on that bandwagon too, like the Patriots? Loser.
So, now that
see, and you thought Jay not being here was going to be a good day for you, Frankie? Not a chance.
So, if you're a Pats bandwagoner, who are you jumping on with this year? Because Pats are going to be hot trash.
Yeah, real hot. So that's what I say. He'll switch up to somebody else, I'm sure. Be like, oh, I'm a Jets fan now. But yeah, the Celtics. Yeah, I kind of that's the one thing I can agree with you, Frankie. F them. But Yeah, I think right now they are a minus 180 to win the championship.
Yeah.
They're obviously the heavy duty favorite.
Yeah, well,
To do.
especially after winning game one. Um,
Well, once they won game one, that was really Indiana's chance. They had to win
yeah,
game one.
no, for sure. And the way that they gave it away at the end, I mean, I had Boston winning anyway,
Mhm.
but I mean, now that makes Boston look like they could sweep it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well now you have Halliburton hobbled too, where he might not even play game 3 or 4.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, it went from something that I thought was going to be like a 6 game, right? Like I thought the Pacers were going to kind of steal a game here and there to, I really think they can just get swept at this point.
Yeah, I didn't have any kids back in 1983. You are correct there, Frankie. But the fact that I actually root for my team and not some team that goes all the way across that you've never even been to LA and you're going to have rooted for the Lakers, weak sauce. Crap. Straight weak sauce there, Frankie. Bandwagon bitch. I chose
See,
violence.
this is what happens when we take a day off. We don't have that outlet the day before. Comes in a little hot.
And yesterday, and not only was it a little hot yesterday, there was like 12,000 kids at the stadium. Like
Yeah.
every school wound up, and I took pictures with 8,000 of them. Like no doubt, it was like, yeah, it was a long day for me yesterday, but it was fun.
On a brighter note for you guys, I'm in tornado watches again all night tonight.
Yeah.
As
Nice.
if Tuesday night wasn't, a grand old time.
Did you clean up those trees or just say, you know what, more coming?
I started to clean it up, and then I saw the weather for tonight. I'm like, maybe we'll just wait a little bit. We'll just wait to see what happens tonight first.
Well, there shouldn't be any more trees that need to fall down, right?
Well, there's some big ones. That'll take a little bit more than a 90-mile-an-hour wind to knock it over, though. If those start falling, we got major problems.
Got you. That's because I know what you do in the closet, Frankie, is your own business.
Oh man.
At least I'm consistent. You know what I mean? So the hockey, Florida won game 1 against the Rangers, which I said that they needed to score 3 goals. And they're going to have a hard time doing it. And unless they got to start putting the puck in the net. And I said that it was going to be the Rangers offense versus Bobrovsky. And Bobrovsky did like a shutout in a playoff game. I think it was the first time since maybe 2004 or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Some weirdo thing that they don't typically get shut out at home.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been pretty good lately. So, but to get shut out by Bobrovsky, that's going to be a big deal. They have to come out swinging hard tonight. They got to pepper him with shots, and just hope that there's something to get by. You got to get that first one by him early and try to do that if you're going to win this series. I don't know that they can.
I still think it's going to be a 7-gamer, but I think the Panthers win.
Oh, if it's a 7-gamer, I think more the Rangers would win.
Yeah.
I think the 7-game, I don't think it goes 7 games, actually. I think when a goalie is hot and wins a series, that happens in 5 or 6. It won't go 7.
Yeah.
The other series is going to be a tough series.
Dallas, yeah.
Asshole scored in overtime, second overtime. I can't stand it. Like I says, I don't ever like to root for Dallas, but I'm pulling for them to win that series. And maybe that's the reason why they're going to lose that series, because I'm pulling for them. But I don't think Edmonton. I think whoever wins that series is going to lose to the Eastern Conference. I think that both Florida and the Rangers are better teams than Dallas or Edmonton.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dallas wins, and if Dallas gets in, I think they have the best shot from the West. But.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think that they do have the best. But Florida's just too tough. Florida's tough, and when the goalie is hot, Like I said, I got to see Bobrovsky firsthand. The fact that we got rid of him, if the Flyers had Bobrovsky, we would have had at least 2 cups. You know, we got rid of him way too early. I think we're still playing Bruce Goloff, because he got that buyout where it was like, hey, we're going to pay you for the next 65 years, $1.2 million, you know, to not play. It's like the Bobby Bonilla, is that it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Their contract.
Yep.
Which he's only got 2 more years left on that contract now.
He does.
Yep.
2026. Although the Mets said that they were going to continue calling it Bobby Bonilla Day and still pay him $1.2 million or whatever to show up on that day.
I mean, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in perpetuity, it's always Bobby Bonilla Day on July 1st. So I think it's July 1st, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
June 1st.
I never remember what day it is, but
I know that it's coming up.
Mhm.
It hasn't happened yet, but I thought it was July 1st, but it might be June 1st. Because then you hear the best contract in all of sports for a player is Bobby Bonilla, where he was only going to get paid like $8 million. Instead, has gotten paid $274 million.
$1.19 million every July 1st.
Yeah, I need to work out one of deals like that.
right?
I'm just looking for a sponsor to pay for my Seattle trip. Let's call a spade here. Great content though. I'd be going to Denver, going to watch, Bush and Candlebox, and then going to Seattle, catching some baseball, then going to LA, catching another baseball game, and then that's another one that I'm doing. I'm flying in, and I'm like in the afternoon, and then flying out at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm not staying. I'm just coming there for the baseball game.
That's a rough travel day.
Yeah.
You'll probably sleep on that plane.
I would. That's what I figure. I probably
Yeah.
will sleep on that plane.
Yeah. I mean, the only planes I've ever been able to actually sleep on is coming home from Vegas. I've been able to do that a couple of times. And, if anybody hasn't been to Vegas, go there one time. You will probably sleep on your flight home.
But the good thing is that the moment that I get to the LAX, get my bags, I could paint my face, go check in. The problem would be is that I'd have to somehow get the paint off my face before I can check back in because I think you can check in for an airplane 12 hours early.
Yeah. Something like that.
So, but I'd have to get all my stuff, get painted up, then go and and then put it back in the bag. It says check the bag in. You know what I mean? That's because I can't carry it with me because then I'd have to throw it all away because it's bigger than 3.4 ounces.
Yeah, I think that's where while you're down there, you swing into one of the malls, right? Jump into a Sephora and get the makeup wipes.
Right? Actually, there was something that somebody shared with me that it was like a cream. Yeah, you put that on there and I rub it in, and it was taking it all off, and then I could use like a dry towel to take it off. So.
Okay.
That might be the way to do it because at that point, I mean, I don't care if there's some on the back of my head or whatever. If I mess up I just need my face to be able to go through the recognition.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Facial recognition.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the way I would do it is just get one of the, the small boxes of the individual sealed wipes and pop into a Buffalo Wild Wings and just use the sanitary pad.
Yeah, I mean there's lots of different ways that I could do that. If I bring the right rags with me, I could just use the rags and get all right. Yeah, I was just using them as my twirl towel, and now I am getting the makeup all on and throwing them away.
Exactly. Yep. So Frankie, I think it'll probably be the Panthers and the Stars. That's the way I'm leaning for that.
Yeah, I think that too. At least I kind of hope on the Stars. The fact that Edmonton won in two overtimes. If it this next game is going to really telltale. But
I think it'll be Edmonton in Florida.
Okay.
Canada will start going nuts because they'll think that they actually have a chance to win the Stanley Cup for the first time in like 217 years.
Yeah, they'll be the first team since they'll be the first Canadian team since Calgary to be back in the Stanley Cup final.
And what was that in the 90s? That was 95, 96?
Since they won.
Yeah.
Yeah, 94 was the last Canadian team that won it, and I think 2011 was the last Canadian team to be in it, which was Calgary.
No. COVID year, Canadians were in it.
The final?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because they were the Western Conference. Yeah. It was weird how they had that set up. They were in the Western side. So, yeah, and they were in the Stanley Cup, but that was the time when you knew that Tampa Bay was going to win still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you, Paul, but I just really love good hockey. I really do. And that's why I even talk about it some. Hockey is like the redheaded stepchild when it comes to sports talk. They don't really talk enough about it, and I know in Philadelphia it doesn't get any play whatsoever.
I like playoff sports in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't watch a lot. I don't watch a lot of basketball. Obviously, regular season. I'm sporadic when it comes to hockey regular season, but when it comes to playoffs, I like watching playoff sports
because it's go time.
That's right. Well, the games matter, right? I think that's my biggest issue with a lot of these sports that are a marathon length is there's a large section of the games that really don't make a difference, right? Baseball is a prime example of that. Like you can kind of suck for almost a whole month and still be in that playoff talk, right? There's a lot of games in baseball that don't matter. So I think that's one of the reasons why I like football so much is every game is important. So once you get into the playoffs, then all of a sudden all the games matter, regardless of sport.
Yep.
What is this? I don't know. Somebody wrote how right now across the board, baseball offenses suck.
They do.
I mean, batting averages would tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, just
they're terrible.
I don't get to see it because the Phillies are obviously doing great. I want to say that they probably it's probably a competition between them and the Dodgers in terms of how many games they've had over 10 runs. I think the Dodgers may have that beat a little bit, but I mean, as a team ERA, the Phillies have got to be the best in the league. I would have to imagine. Now it's like I haven't checked that stuff, but here, let's see if I can do the leaders.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be pretty close. But, I mean, when you look at across the league, how many players are under 200? I mean, it would absolutely add credence to their position on the offenses suck because they do. Like people, they're either trying for the home run or they're walking to the dugout. Like they're not
doing anything else in between.
Exactly. Like small ball is really just not what it once was, which is unfortunate.
So as of today, Houston Astros lead Major League Baseball at 264, and the Phillies are second at 260.
Huh.
With the batting average?
Yep.
The Astros are actually a better batting average.
Yep, at 264.
So our run differential is 93. And that's got to be best in the league in comparison to 77 from the Dodgers. The Yankees have 84. Seattle Mariners have a -4.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They've been weirdly finding ways to win, despite the fact that they're not getting the run support they should have.
Hey, listen, it doesn't matter as long as you're winning.
Yeah, no, win's a win. I mean, what that illustrates is the games they lose in a huge way. Like their pitching doesn't show up and the bats also don't show up.
It
And
makes me wonder because you're saying that with the team, but I'm saying that the Dodgers. You're saying the Dodgers weren't up. I guess they got to be up in that list somewhere if they're 264.
Dodgers are 256 at fifth.
Got you. Because I mean, they have Otani right now, who is leading the major leagues in what a 3.48. Or what's it?
Batting average.
Batting average. Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be the Chicago Cubs and the Seattle Mariners right now. The Cubs and the Mariners are hitting a 146 in their last 3 games, and the Cubs and the Mariners are hitting a 100 and a 129 in the last 10.
Killing it.
We are smoking the baseball right now. Is what we're doing.
But somehow still pulling wins out of that, which man.
And the average batting average across Major League Baseball right now is 231.
Yeah, didn't it used to be that the Mendoza line was 220?
Yeah, and then they moved it down to 200.
To 200. But it used to be 220. And now, because now batting 200 is, hey, if you go 1 for 5, you could be an all-star now. So, yeah. But it used to be 220, and that's why I keep thinking about this. Like, oh, it's 236 right now. That's just over the Mendoza line. That it should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 250, 260.
Yeah.
And think about how much different it would be if they kept the shift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be at 180.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. Especially some of those really hard shifts on guys like Kyle Seager that really couldn't hit anywhere but one spot on the field.
Right.
Where they just have like 3 guys standing there. If he ever accidentally pulled one the other way, it'd be a triple. He just never did.
Or you just bunt it down the third baseline for a double.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could have.
In terms of pitching, the Yankees are number 1 at 286. The Red Sox are second in ERA at 299, and the Phillies are third at 312.
Guy.
Where do the Mariners land
for ERA?
Yeah,
Seattle is somewhere on this list. I don't know where they are.
Close to the bottom.
Top 30.
Seattle is 9th at 361.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I figured they had to be decent, right? Because that's since the bats aren't supporting, the pitching has to be all right.
Great. Cubs are right behind the Mariners at 10 at 372.
There we go. See? So we got all of that.
If we didn't have Imanaga, we would probably be at about 440.
And I'm looking at this right here. The Yankees have 3 guys, Judge, Soto, and Stanton, on the home run list, in the top 7 of the home run list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
15, 13, and 12.
That is definitely what the Yankees focus on, is denting cars in the parking lot. Like, that's their...
No, it's not denting, guys. That short porch over in right field, that's what they focus on. Let's hit the ball 280 feet and get a home run.
No, I'm just saying that's their offensive philosophy.
What subway do we want to hit it on today?
Exactly.
Yeah, in retrospect, the Phillies only have 1 guy on that list, and that's Harper with 12 home runs. Schwarber hasn't even started yet.
No,
but
he has not.
It's getting warm, and as Charlie Manuel would say, it's hitting season. So I think it'll be it's only a matter of time before he actually breaks the snide there.
Hey, reality check. Thanks for dropping in.
So, Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time before he gets hurt. Stanton is, he's like Glass. They called me Mr. Glass.
That's right.
That was a great movie.
Hmm.
Filmed in Philly, by the way.
Filmed in Philly.
Yeah, yeah. You get the Schwar bombs for Wawa Hoagie Month. So exactly, he's usually good till the end of April. So look at that, he's already made it. May's not over yet though, so
Right.
he
Let's
might
get him
just
over
make
it
it that
today.
extra month.
Hey, he's already doubled his playing time for the year. He deserves a bonus.
There you go.
Right.
That's what it is. It's probably a contract year.
I think he's got 3 years left.
Well, that could be. Or else, the Yankees can opt out year. I'd love it for baseball to happen that way, but it doesn't. There is no opting out for baseball. But such is life. All right. Well, that was all the sports shit I had to talk about. What do you guys got? I know that you said that there were some other things that were happening.
Yeah, I was going to say we should just do that station break, and then we can talk about AB finding ways to lose $80 million.
Sounds good. There's a great segue. Stay tuned as we find out Antonio Brown's and his financial plan to ruin. We'll get to that in just a few moments, so please stay tuned. I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready. I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, get any...
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you. Your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sometimes, all you need to change your life is a sign. A sign that says, "Hank, this is the place you've been looking for." And sometimes that sign is an actual sign that's mounted to a building. 1 second, I'm looking at a sign. I know what you're thinking, and no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. Cause this place, come on. It's like they took beer and made it into a place and then gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people, Cuba, the best. Oh! What the is going on, Marty? This isn't a game, this is trivia! Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. Without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go, sports bar!
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or a Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And we're
StatGuy
back.
roll out?
Yeah, he poofed the moment the commercials hit.
Yeah, so basically, I just saw that AB files for bankruptcy Monday in federal court. A guy that, he was in the league for 12 years, made $80 million, and somehow found a way to be in debt enough to have to file bankruptcy. So now, when you look back through his career, the amount of money that he gave away because he couldn't figure out how to play football. So yeah, must have just been spending money like crazy to land there. Obviously, some of those were lawsuits because of dumb stuff he did. But
yeah, well, and I'm sure there's no way he's making any money.
No,
there's no endorsements. He'd have to actually.
Definitely not.
Are we going to see him be like homeless? And there's Stat Guy back again.
Jumping in the car. That's why.
Yeah. I always do that. I like to do that on the station break. It gives me more time.
No, that makes sense. I mean, so you might he definitely could be one of those NFL stars that ends up, homeless somewhere. I could see that potentially being AB, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I can't imagine anybody wants to get close to him right now.
I don't even know how you could, really. I mean, again, that guy is so scattered and even people that have been good to him, he turns on, right? And turns on in a way that's in front of cameras. So it's not even like it's hearsay. Like you get to see him come out and trash people that were good to him. So yeah, I can't imagine people are lining up to give him money or help him out. So, for him to have made $80 million and thrown it all away at this point, yeah, he definitely could end up as one of those homeless guys.
How do you tell me that you have CTE without telling me you have CTE? Look at Antonio Brown.
Yeah, you run out in the middle of a game.
that hit that Vontez Burfict put on him 8 years ago, I think, was the beginning of the end for Antonio Brown's brain, because he has not been the same player since that hit in the playoffs.
Not at all. I mean, and you watched him change also as soon as he got paid. As soon as he got that first contract, he was a different dude.
Not to the level he is now, though.
That
hit that he took in the playoff game, I think, rattled his brains more than anybody realizes.
Yeah, no, that perfect hit was no joke. That, he got rocked. And if there was an ad for CTE, that was it.
I can believe that.
Because if you watch back that hit again, he was knocked out cold before he hit the ground.
Oh yeah.
And then he hit the ground, his head bounced again, and then he folded up like an accordion before he even regained consciousness. I'm like, yeah, your head got completely scattered.
Well, it was probably, you could say the only other one that I could say that was just as bad was the Tua hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he had his fingers all in weirdo things and stuff like that. That was,
Yeah. I liked that after that game, they're like, oh, it was a back injury. You're like, what?
A back injury for what? The back of the head?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that made absolutely no sense. Because they were trying to say, oh, he didn't end up with another concussion. That was a back injury.
I think that's why they said that, because I think they knew that if they said he would have had another concussion, I think that's when they were going to start he can't play no more.
Yeah.
He's already on the short-term list. I think they already said if he gets 2 more concussions, he's got to medically retire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because Tua's already had 5 concussions since college. They said if he has 2 more, he's got to medically retire.
Oh, is there's a set number for that?
Now that they've started looking into CTE, and now that they've had all the doctors on the 7 concussions, you have to medically retire. A team will not clear you to play if you have more than 7 concussions.
Crazy.
Got ya.
Yeah.
Well, good. At least they did something.
Yeah.
So,
I figured they would just make him put the foam on the outside of the helmet.
Well, the fact that they're allowing that this year,
It's
They're
crazy.
going to allow that in games.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, not for nothing. I guess it's got to be color coordinated.
Yeah, they're going to have to paint them, right, to match the helmets. And then, when you hear from the players across the league, they're like, how is that even going to work in a game? Because they pop off in practice when they're not hitting each other. Like, how are they going to – you're going to have to constantly be getting these things off the field and trying to put them back on your helmet and stuff. I don't see how it can be a real thing.
Just Velcro it.
Right? Yeah.
I'm serious. I mean, what's the difference? It's like –
yeah, I think if it pops off, though, and then you hit the ground with the Velcro, that's probably putting more stress on your head than anything else.
Or stick
I
you to
think
the
Tua
ground.
would be the poster.
That's what I'm saying. So
I
if
think
you start
Tua-
to slide and your head sticks, right? They're like, hey, you
I
didn't
think
get a
Tua would be
concussion.
the
You broke
poster
your neck.
child,
But
I think Tua would be the poster child to wear one of those too if they actually worked. Like he'd be the first one to volunteer. Like, yeah, put me in one of those.
yeah, right. Yeah. So you couldn't do it inside the helmet, Chris, because that's where the foam already lives.
Right. So, and you can't bubble wrap. Like that.
all of a sudden, they're Spaceballs helmets.
Exactly. I can't see with this thing on. How about Marvin Harrison Jr.? You guys heard that?
I have not heard that.
In what way?
So Marvin Harrison Jr. Has not signed his licensing agreement. So now they're not sure why he hasn't. Like typically when you do the combine, you sign it in the combine. So without the licensing agreement signed, you can't be in Madden. You can't be in you can't get any of the endorsements or anything like that whatsoever. But it also has to do with they can't make jerseys of you.
Nope.
So it's very interesting to see how this is going to play out and what he's doing it for.
That's odd.
They don't even know what he's doing it for.
Maybe that's his way of saying I'm not going to be in Arizona too long, so don't even bother making my stuff.
That was the first thing I thought of, was that he was not happy with going to Arizona, and he's trying to make things difficult from the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but it seems very odd. I mean, because ultimately...
Well, because he hasn't signed his rookie contract yet either, right?
No.
No.
So, and if he holds out for an entire year, does he get to go back into the draft?
No.
Is it like baseball?
No, I think they still own the rights to
him. And he hired an agent also. So he wouldn't be able to go back in.
Got you.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. That'll be is he trying to force his way out? Because if you're the Cards, what do you expect in return for him?
First round pick.
Well, I mean, for sure, but it would probably be more than one.
Maybe.
Do you think anybody even gives him a first? Do you think even anybody would give him a first round pick though without seeing him play it down?
Well, not only that, but without even seeing him play it down, but also the fact that he's finding out that he's a little bit of a wackadoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he's not
even get a first round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean he's getting that diva receiver action without ever even stepping on the field yet, which is crazy.
And to be honest, it's not even like diva. I think that this is more dummy. You know, it makes me wonder if he's getting certain information from his father. Because
I don't think so. Because his dad wasn't like that though.
So
his dad really wasn't a diva.
No, it is funny though, because his dad did come out and say that he should be more of a me guy. He released that almost 2 months ago now, I think. He should demand the ball more. Like he's basically advising his kid to be a diva. And I don't know if that's a great approach for day one. Maybe establish yourself as a number one threat before you get crazy.
Well,
I mean, I don't want you to be crazy anyway, because you just ruin the culture of teams. But
yeah,
if you're gonna do it, you should at least be good first, right? We should see you be good in the NFL.
yeah. And the other thing is though too, he's in Arizona now. Arizona doesn't have any wide receiver options, so you know he's going to be the number one option.
Yeah, he'll be the first target. Although,
yeah, but that being said, it's still going to be. Is that hail that I hear on your car?
That is hail on my car right now. Grand old time.
Yeah, it looks it. I can see it in the back window. It's coming down pretty good.
Yeah, it's a grand old time.
Nice. If we start seeing you twist around like that, I'm just going to call Annie M.
That's fine. So you want to live in Wisconsin, do you?
No, I know I'm not that big a fan of cheese. That's what it is. A lot of cows up in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Two things that they do in Wisconsin: cheese and beer. So
yeah, because what their second target's going to be Zay Jones, right?
Or the tight end Trey McBride.
Oh, I meant receiver wise.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's not like Zay is a good number 2, as long as he can stay healthy. But I mean, he's a good number 2.
Yeah.
So it's not like he'd have to carry everything. Plus, you know that Kyler's going to scramble for half of them.
Right.
Well, that's if he doesn't read the playbook. If he reads the playbook, maybe he might study a little bit.
Well, if they hid the playbook in Madden, I bet he knows some of the plays.
See, and that's the other thing. I got to get Madden this year because now I have a PlayStation 4. I'd love to be able to kind of figure out how to play video games again at 51 years old. Like I got any time. But
yeah. No, I mean, I'd play. I have a PS4 that I haven't turned on in like a year.
When you turn it on, you got to go through all the updates. So it's going to take like 2 months of updates before.
No question. Yeah, it'll be forever. Yep.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, I would do. I'd do Madden, right? I'd get smoked by every 12-year-old ever, but.
That's what we would do. We would get. Maybe that would be 2 hours of a show. Me versus you and Madden.
Oh, I was thinking us getting murdered by 12-year-olds on screen.
Yeah, that would suck. But
just wait till NCAA gets out.
Huh?
I said, just wait till NCAA comes out and buy the new NCAA game.
No, I don't know anybody in college. I had somebody asking me if they would take me to Penn State, would I go? I was like, well, no.
I mean, for the experience, I guess.
Not really interested.
You know? I mean, yes, Tecmo Bowl would be fun. I could get into that, Chris.
Yeah, but see, the problem is everybody would want to be the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to make it so no one could be Raiders, right?
I would love if you could have Tecmo Bowl and then trade Bo Jackson to a different team. But it didn't have the Eagles on there either. There was no Philadelphia team. So you got stuck with like the 6 or 8 teams that were there.
That's why you got to have the Nintendo Switch version of Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Or it's got the old school gameplay, but it has like the updated rosters for this year.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I still have the quarterback, the handheld game with the dots.
Oh, me too.
I still have that.
Yeah, the white one with the pass, kick, and the arrows.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Where it's like tick, 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 and you got to make sure you don't get tackled. You're like, all right, you get everybody. All the guys come closer. Then you go up and around, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I actually have that fairly close. I could almost grab it.
Yeah, I have. I don't have the big one anymore, but I have a keychain version that's fully functional. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know where it is offhand, but
I used to have this baseball game that you would play, and it actually had a wire that
for
somebody
pitching.
could, huh?
So someone could pitch against you.
Correct.
Yeah, I had that too. It was awesome.
It was probably one of the better ones. I have the smaller version now, but it's not. It's really only a one-player game, so you can't really pitch to it. But
No, that was such an awesome one. It I loved that game, and you had like a full complement of pitches and everything. It was pretty amazing.
You could do curveball, slider, stuff like that. That was really a fun game. It's a shame I don't have that anymore, but it was a great game. It was, yeah, I loved playing that. So, Victor, here's how I would suggest. I am traveling with Philly Sports Trips. When Philly Sports Trips went down to Brazil to talk about this, they said, well, we're going to probably have about 250 people. And the guy was like, hey, listen, with 250 people, crime should be small. You're probably looking about somewhere between 8 and 10 cell phones, wallets, passports going missing or stolen. And he's like, hold on, what? Like, no, 8 to 10 is too much. Like, you need to, that number's got to be 0. They're like, if you want it to be 0, you have to stay here. So we're staying in those places. So there is no theft or anything going on. These are full resorts. They're going to be taking buses to and from the stadium. So I can't say that every travel company is going to be doing that, or that self-travel is going to be doing that. I know that when I was in Rio, Rio is a nice place. However, it's not a first world country. So think about that. Rio de Janeiro is built on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that mountain doesn't have plumbing. So the higher you are on the mountain, typically the least amount of money that you have. And like I said, there's a reason why they say the saying shit rolls downhill, because it does.
Yep.
So he's back here. He must have went through a
bad signal area.
So, but I mean, it's happening in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is like the New York City of Brazil. So it's something that you should be careful of. Yeah, I didn't think so. He hasn't quite popped up yet.
Oh, it just has the box, but not the image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've never played that.
Yeah, I can't say that I played that one either.
Nope. I'll see if let's kick him and have him pop back up. Dustin, if you hear this, we're kicking you and popping you back up. So I'm just going to kick you from the studio. Yeah, I'm not banning him. I just want to kick him.
That's right. See you in a week.
So, no problem, Vic. Like I said, that's who I would travel with. I mean, obviously, I'm biased to them, but the other companies also, I'm sure they have taken some precautions on this. It's obviously things are a little different when you go to a second world country. That's what I would call that, right? I'd call Brazil second world, right?
Sure.
Not first world. It's more second world. Not third world. It's not a third world country.
Yeah.
But like third world would be like Mozambique.
Yes.
I think that would be third world. There we are. Back in the game.
Hey.
Not sure if you heard me say I was booting you from the studio because you weren't. I thought it wasn't connected.
I figured I was gonna reset it anyways because once you get lightning over here, apparently connections don't work too well.
lightning does mess with, signal.
Absolutely.
That and like solar flares. You're talking about there's been an inordinate amount of solar flares recently from the sun.
I mean, if they hit the right way, absolutely. Because what Toronto got melted down, in the 70s, 80s, something like that? Took out power.
Yeah. They said that there's something happening in the middle of June where there's a lot of the planets lining up again.
Oh, okay.
Getting in that straight line to the sun. And that's causing something going on with the magnetic poles and such. So
look for everyone to think it's the apocalypse again.
Yeah, watch out for the Kool-Aid parties. Usually just seems to kill people.
Exactly. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
That's right. Don't try and ride the comet.
When they were over London a couple of weeks ago, nice. You know what? I never get the Northern Lights. Yeah, like I've never seen them. I understand what they are. I can imagine they'd probably look really cool. But
they do. We got to see them here in Seattle.
Yeah, I'm too south.
Which is rare.
And there's way too much light pollution here.
Yeah. Now, we had a pretty good showing of it. So even with the light pollution, you could still see it to some degree. But it's very rare for us to actually see them. One, because they have to be pretty massive for it to get down this far. And then when we do randomly get the opportunity at it, there's usually clouds, right? It's usually where weather is just like, oh yeah, there's something really cool coming, northern lights or comets or, whatever. And the clouds are like, ha, no.
No scoop for you.
Not today.
That was like the eclipse here.
Yeah.
The only moon that we got to see was one of the tugboat guys mooned us all. That was
awesome. That's pretty fantastic.
So
that's a great time.
Yeah, that wasn't very fun, but whatever. I got everybody's wearing those glasses and looking like I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to see this. I don't care. It's not important to me. I did take pictures though. You guys did get to see it. We got like the 90% type thing.
Yeah.
But c'est la vie. What else is happening in the sports world?
Dion has somebody helping him out a little bit with some decent press. David Justice went on a podcast and basically was defending Dion on the stance where people like to think that he was a distraction playing two sports. And David Justice said that, he was a great teammate. They welcomed him whenever he was there. They understood when he couldn't be there. So, but I mean, when you think of Dion's camp, it's probably good for them to have any press that isn't him barbecuing either players or other coaches or, things that are reflecting badly on the college. So, so at least there was some positive press for Dion out there.
Gotcha.
Right.
Is he in hot water for something?
It's just because he keeps saying dumb stuff and getting on Twitter and, yeah.
There we go. Mama D is out early. Have a good Memorial Day weekend.
Right on. Have fun.
So,
but yeah, so not really in hot water so much, but most of the press has either been about him or Shedeur or how many kids are transferring out of the college at this point. Cause I think he has like 35 transfers now, which is crazy. So, for him to get some press of that isn't just weird stuff going on.
Yeah, that was short-lived. That whole, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. And then he loses.
Well, he's still getting out there with it is the thing that's crazy, because Shador is now running his mouth, and then Dion getting in on the action with it. And it's like, at some point you probably just need to shut up and win some games, right?
You'll have round two of Ricky Stenhouse too.
You can run your mouth a little bit when you win.
That's Dion though. Yeah, that's Dion though. He's always done that though. That's not
for sure. But I mean, like one of the kids that Shador went after, they're like, oh yeah, he must not have been very good. I don't know who that is. And it was one of their 5-star recruits that was on their team last year. Was their one of their starting DBs. It's like, who he was. Like, shut up. Like, so
always weird. It's always something, you know what I mean? But such is life. You know what I mean? That's part of what's going on.
We might have a round two of Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch this weekend too.
Yeah, you think he's just going to put him in the wall? Just early? Just mash up both cars?
Kyle Busch is going to be one spot ahead of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So someone's going to run somebody into the wall, and then it's going to be over after the race again.
I mean, do they really want to do that, though? I mean, is that what they're trying to do? They're trying to knock each other out of the race?
Some of these guys are thin-skinned. They're like KD level of thin skin. If KD was driving a race car, he would absolutely go punt people. Like 100%. Based on the way he freaks out on people on the internet and everything, if he was in a race car, he'd absolutely go tangle somebody's bumper up and shove him in the wall. And usually you take yourself out doing it. So, I mean, it's not even like it helps you out. Plus, if they see you do it, you're still going to get black flagged. You're not going to finish the race anyway. But yeah, it's that kind of mentality. It's just like, oh, I'm mad at you. Bam. It's like, man.
I didn't realize Jim Otto passed away, but
yeah, me either.
Okay. There we go. That's why we have Chris always giving us some info of everything that's going on.
And then, of course, there's speculation that Jordan Love will sit out and, hold out for a contract, which, I mean, he does kind of have him over a barrel a little bit, right? Some of that Daniel Jones, New York action where he could force their hand to sign him and probably spend more than they should.
Well, let's hope that works, because I love it when teams
overpay. Absolutely.
Especially when they don't need to.
Right, because Packers still have him for 3 more years to control it. They don't even have to worry about that if they don't want to.
Well, and the thing is he played good for half a season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go back out there and let's see that wasn't just you guys kind of got on a roll at the end. Let's see you sustain that, because it's not like you guys were good to start the year.
Say, I don't understand why people don't understand. You can't call me between 12 and 2.
No, I always liked that when I had a normal job, right? People would call and be like, what are you doing? It's like, the hell do you think I'm doing on a weekday in the middle of the day? Working.
Exactly. So what did you have to do yesterday? We could talk about what we did yesterday.
Yeah, just had some consulting stuff to do. So nothing too crazy, but one of those pays well things. So, but yeah.
And Bammo.
Hey, came in for the last 5 minutes. I like it.
So she said.
He finally got it.
He finally got out of 5 minutes. Who are you lying to?
maybe a minute and a half. I don't know.
He finally got out of there. He finally got out of the raft.
Frankie was bagging on you too. I just figured you were calling it a day altogether.
Anyways.
Oh man! Well,
Frankie all over you.
Yep.
Oh, Frankie was on me.
Yep.
Yeah. It was all over you today. Missed you. He missed you terribly.
Okay.
Was crying.
Did he?
Real tears. So, all right, you should be
But,
excited that we swept we swept the Rangers for you.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes, that's fine. I'm glad you did see you. That's and how does it feel that you did that to the Rangers, given what you had did before, and you were worried about?
It's always better. Hey, listen, it's always better to sweep the other team than them sweep you.
Yes.
But that was your fear, though, that maybe that was going to be an issue.
Well, yeah, like I said, you had to win the first one. We hadn't beaten them for 10 years. So you got to get that first one in the books. Then the pendulum can swing however it wants to. They're hurt. I mean, they have a lot of injuries right now that they're dealing with. But we beat them. All three. They scored 8 runs in the entire series.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I like that. Makes me feel good about my team.
Oh, you guys lost to the Angels again? Nice.
Yes, they lost to the Angels.
Good job.
I mean, they're only about the worst team in baseball. About the worst.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I just feel like.
Oh, that's funny. You play the whole West right in a row?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and if you look at that last one we played against the Angels, I mean, what it was like 2-1.
Yep.
We need more offense. I mean, I feel like the Astros sometimes we get a lot of offense. We just can't put it all together at the same time.
I mean, that was the only game against them you didn't score runs, though. You had a 7 and a 6 run game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you only win one of those, but
I mean, you guys were hitting the ball.
We just gotta put it all together.
Right now, you guys have the best batting average as a team in the league.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that you keep losing games.
Yeah, I mean, you guys need some pitching. You need some pitching. Because if you put up 7 runs, you should win that game. You shouldn't give up 9.
Are you kidding me? Like you want me to? I'm sorry. Here's the text I just got from my son. Yo, Dad, can you go to Mom's house and grab the Nintendo Switch out of my room and bring it to school? What?
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 What are you talking about?
Wow.
How do you respond to this?
No.
Hey, hold on. Is that the equivalency of Ma?
I am in the middle of a podcast and can't just stop everything I'm doing. I wish I could actually say this. I don't have the voice to text anymore. They gave me a upgrade or update, and it took out my talk to text. I'm like, how's that even possible?
Oh, yeah. No, it reminds me of a phrase that you always hated to get as a kid. A lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh,
and
man.
I can't run anywhere. Now I got to ask, why do you want it at school? Because you weren't allowed to bring stuff like that to school.
No, there was zero fun allowed to be had. If you were going to do anything at school, it was play with outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
learn how to skip a class or something.
The only video thing you ever looked forward to is when they rolled the TV in on the cart, because you knew you weren't going to do anything in that class.
Like, what is there, a substitute teacher?
Right? We're going to watch the laser disc? Sweet. Oh, nope, it's the VHS. Shoot. Because you knew if it was a laser disc, it's going to take the whole class, because it's going to take half the class to get it to work.
And the laser disc used to be like a record.
A record. Yep. Yep. Anytime that TV got rolled in, or you saw the projector on the teacher's desk, that was generally going to be good, unless it was a math class. Then you knew you were in for a really long, boring day. But
Uh-oh.
Yep, busting out the slides.
Yeah, the project, the chink, 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 chink. You know, it's or you had the what was it? The overhead projector.
Yes, the overhead with the
clear slides
pages,
that had the writing on it and stuff. And
yeah, they're missing out on all that stuff. Where the teacher's scrambling around, I lost a page.
Exactly, like it's no, they're stuck together. That's it. And
now they just have smart boards in every single damn classroom.
I know.
Here was his response. Because I'm asked, why do you want it at school? Because I'm bored of just playing stupid games that aren't any fun.
Oh, so he's playing on his phone. He's bored with the games on his phone, despite the fact that you can download a new game to your phone at any time. That is hilarious. Shouldn't he be learning at school, though?
That's what I'm writing. Aren't you in school? The school is no fun. It's not for games. That's what the school is not for games.
What that would have said? Boy, give me that damn phone when you get home. You ain't having this phone no more.
Yeah, you know, you want to have some fun. Walk home. That'll be fun. I made him walk to my house the other day because at 15 years old I got him a job, so he's working. You know, which is cool. You know, start this early, and he works at a pizza shop. He answers the phone. He takes the money, gives the change, stuff like that. So he's doing his stuff, and so I live across the street from where he's working. His mother isn't able. Oh, they're having field day.
The definition of field day is to be outside playing in the
you're
field.
supposed to be You're supposed to be outside playing. It's the easiest day of school ever.
That's what it's called, field.
It is like 8 hours. It is like 8 hours of outside recess.
Yeah, it's literally the whole school day.
We're having field day. Another field day games are trash, and all the games are trash. There you go. Do laps. Do laps.
I always loved field day because we didn't have to actually do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I love field day, man.
Root on your team if you don't want to play. Yeah. Go green.
Yeah,
no, it's hot. It's hot, is what he said. No, it's hot.
Okay.
Tell them to find a girl. Hey, all you gotta do is find one of them girls in a set of bleachers and go find a nice little clubby hole somewhere. Be good.
Yeah. Life is always going to smack. Sometimes it's in the butt. Sometimes it's across the face.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I tell you, the lessons that you have to teach sometimes.
No, field day was great. It was. I mean, basically, we just played football like the whole day.
So
usually went to a park or something too. So I mean, there's usually stuff to do.
Yeah, we always play.
Although you have to want to play with the outside, so there is that.
Yeah, we used to play outdoor dodgeball for field day.
Oh sure, yeah.
I miss dodgeball. There we go.
I mean, if you've ever played it, you can still hear the ring of that red ball.
Yeah, you
smacks you in the face.
But
that like. Oh.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, talking about
dodgeball was
that's what I'm telling him. Now I'm telling him we're talking about this. I'm getting all this stuff. Yeah, dodgeball was great. I love dodgeball.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was a ton of fun.
What else? What else was a good game that you would play?
Well, we'll call it.
I was always
good because you can't call it what we used to call it.
like steal the flag.
Yeah, capture the flag. Capture the flag was good. Yeah. Various versions of football, right? Because you'd do like flyers up, and then you'd be tackling the one player with the ball. Because again, family show, can't call it what we used to call it.
Slingshot dodgeball was fun.
Slingshot dodgeball?
Yeah,
Yes,
capture
it
the
was.
flag is still being played. And when that's funny. My face
Remember those
does
little
not miss dodgeball.
remember those little scooters that you would sit on?
Little scooters?
They're like the little plastic scooters.
Like and play like handball or something?
No, so they're like little plastic scooters that have like handles on the side, and you would like sit on them, and then that's how you would play slingshot dodgeball. You'd have like a group of 10 people like scootering through the middle, and you launch dodgeballs off a slingshot at them.
I can't say I ever played that one, I guess.
Yeah, you got to have those right little scooter things. All right. I guess another lightning strike close to.
Yeah, no, I can't say that I played dodgeball like that, but I mean, it sounds like it could have been fun.
Yeah, we used to play like handball too. Like they would try to teach us the rules of handball, and now they officially have like an official tag. You know, like that's like pro tag. That would be kind of cool to do. Trying to stay away for a minute.
Yeah, the other thing we'd play, although I haven't seen one of these in years, is we'd play tetherball. You remember those? Where it was a pole with a ball on a string?
Zim Zam is what we would call it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You'd
same
start
idea.
it, and you would serve, and you try to hit it faster so that it either gets up to the top or the bottom.
Yep,
That's
yep.
how
As
you'd
long
win.
as you could wrap it all the way up, whoever wrapped it all the way up won. So yeah, we called it tetherball, but yeah, I mean, I can't say that I've seen one of those at a park or a school or anything in years.
Yeah, I've never seen it out of school. We used to have one, and it came with these paddles, and it was meant to like practice for tennis.
Oh, yours had so the thing we were playing, it was essentially like a volleyball size ball.
Okay.
And so it didn't have paddles. You hit it with your hand, and you were literally trying to wind the string up and get the ball to rack the pole, right? And so that would be the point. But yeah, we had one of those at our elementary school, I think. But yeah. Face doesn't miss tetherball either. Yeah, I mean, you could get a rocket to the face if you guessed wrong.
Yes, I can imagine.
The tighter it got, the faster it was, right?
So now I know who he is. He's Sterling. He's Scott Sterling. You've seen the videos of Scott Sterling, right?
Mm-mm.
Scott Sterling was the goalie in that one spot where he was blocking the goals with his face. and then now they got one with volleyball that he just kept winning the point with his face.
Yeah. I saw that with soccer. Yeah, I got you.
His name is Scott Sterling, and I went to school with a Scott Sterling, which is hysterical. That's what makes it even funnier to me. Bulldog? I never played Bulldog.
Yeah,
I played Buck Buck. Buck Buck was a game, and you know it was brought into. It was called something else, but we called it Buck Buck here. Like sometimes it's Johnny on the Pony, where there's four of you guys. You had four guys on a team, and you'd sit there, and somebody would run and jump on you, and you got to keep all four. You know, if all four guys jump on without breaking anybody, then you win. I just got a text. He's not coming back. June 3rd, he will be back.
Okay.
He's got more hail.
He got hit by the lightning.
He's riding the lightning.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if I want to ride anything like that. Oh.
But anyways, but yeah, that was always fun. And then wall ball.
Yeah, wall ball.
Wall ball. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I forget. So we would play wall ball, and then like, how did you guys play? How did you
you
guys
had,
play wall ball?
you had to, so it was with a racquetball. You would actually bounce it. It had to bounce before it hit the wall, and then it would fly out. And if it was caught, you had to run and touch the wall before you got pegged.
Okay. Yep. We were playing the same game. Basically,
Yeah.
you were just finding a reason to like throw balls at your friends. That's
Correct.
really what it is.
Correct.
Although most of the time we were playing with tennis balls because they were easier to get.
Yeah, racquetballs stung a little better.
They definitely did. They definitely did. They had a tendency to break, though.
Yes. Yes.
So that's where we started moving towards tennis balls because, they tended not to fall apart.
So, but
you got
did
pretty
it right.
good at really launching those things, and they, ultimately they'd split and then the game would be over.
Exactly, because you could also get like a half pimple ball. You can kind of do it with those, like the pimple balls. Before you'd cut them in half and play half ball, you would actually use it to play, football. We're playing kickball. Yes, kickball is still played. We're playing wiffle ball this Saturday, by the way. Anybody who's watching, who is at Dolan's, lives near Dolan's in Ridley Park, we're going to be playing wiffle ball with Mickey Morandini, one of the last Phillies to ever have an unassisted triple play. And actually, somebody had it more recent than him, but that's why I say one of the last. And John Kruk. And John Kruk is going. I'm working out getting a fat head of Randy Johnson, so that when I throw a pitch at him, I'll have Randy Johnson's face.
Kickball is fun. I mean, it's fun anyway. But we played slip and slide kickball, so the base paths were slip and slides. That was
that's another thing you do, but you can't do it on concrete. You got to definitely do it on grass. Where you get it's slip hockey, where you get a big tarp, fill it up with some palm olive and a little bit of water, and play street hockey.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you do that out in the middle of the field. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got to be on grass. You can't. That concrete hurts way too much.
Yeah, you go down hard. Let's be honest. Even the grass kind of hurts sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
So, some of those falls are no joke.
So I've been watching. I would love to try to get onto one of those shows where they're doing hey, you have to climb up the wall of soap and stuff like that to hit the button.
Yeah.
Like they have those competitions. I would love to get into those. You know what I mean? Because I think I'd actually be pretty good at that.
So there was a game that me and my buddies used to play because we got tired of losing baseballs and stuff. So we would go and we'd kind of half flatten a soccer ball. And then we'd be out in center field of the park that was by our house. And we'd essentially play home run derby over the backstop. So that we had a fence to shoot for, right? Because it wasn't like a true baseball field or anything. And so there was a swim meet at this park, and my buddy and his younger brother were on the swim team, and his younger brother wanted to play with us. And so he throws this ball and I uncork on it, right? Because I'm, again, trying to hit a home run with this half flat soccer ball. And it ends up being a line drive into this kid's head, right? But it's half flat. So it like wraps around his head and then just like launches into the ground. And then the ball still made it to the backstop, right? So, I mean, it had plenty of juice behind it. Needless to say, he didn't swim that day. But we're all looking at him like, oh, I think I killed him. Like, because it was just like, wham, the ball like, hey, it was so bad.
That's fun. I love it when that would happen, when stuff like that occurs.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. We stopped playing. Obviously, we left because the adults at the park were kind of uptight about it.
No more playing with that, guys. Everybody go home.
Yeah, that's what it was, too. They're like, you guys got to go. And we're like, no, that's fair. So if somehow Pete, you're watching this, sorry, buddy.
Everybody switched to wiffle ball.
You know what they have? So it was funny. There was a party that I went to just recently that had they had the pugilist sticks.
Oh,
I was
sweet.
talking Ninja Warrior, but it was raining, so it was like if you got on and you lost, you got soaked because there was about a half of inch of water that was in the air mattress that you were standing on originally, with the two pugilist posts on there. So it was like nobody really wanted to go get wet that bad.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It is fun though.
Yes. I'm actually pretty good with the pugilist stick. One of the things that they show on ESPN 8 the Ocho when it shows sometimes is they actually have lightsaber wars.
Yeah.
And I have a professional lightsaber.
Okay.
Like one that would go into those you could actually enter into those games.
Gonna have to Google it now.
Yeah, they do. It's actually a whole league and everything. So it's it's lightsaber wars, and you go there and you got to wear some padding because those things hurt. You get hit with those things, it's like getting hit with a stick.
I mean, you're fencing, basically.
With hard plastic.
Yeah.
And a light inside. You know what I mean? So that's because it's kind of in the dark. That's part of the purpose. You're fighting a little like it's hard to see because the light of the lightsaber is what you're doing.
I mean, that's the best way to sword fight.
Well, you could see the other light. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like, oh, it's coming down on me. I better block.
Nobody in this panel here is doing any of that. You tell me one person on this panel that is lightsaber in the dark somewhere. Bo, I do not see you lightsaber in the dark somewhere. I just don't see it, Bo. I'm not in your future.
I mean, if I was somewhere, and they're like, we're doing this, I'd be like, hell yeah, we are. Don't threaten me with a good time. What are you talking about? I would do that. I think that'd be fun. I'd probably get killed by somebody, right? Because they probably actually do it. I'd just be swinging, but it would still be fun.
Oh man!
Yeah, I think I could even. I think I could even pull it up. Hold on, one sec. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, not there. Let's see. I mean, I remember because we were down the shore or the beach, as you guys would call it, and my brother brought all these different. Let's see, I could probably only have pictures, not videos. Okay. Anyways, not as important now. But here, we'll see if I can try it this way. But yeah, anyways, he brought these lightsabers, and I was like, we're all playing out there when you're away from everybody and all you see are the lightsabers. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull it up. Was it in here or here's the shack party? Nope, I can't. All right, nope. Forget it. Forget about it. I can't show you.
Moving on.
But I do have professional lightsabers. I do have the professional lightsabers. It's just
it'd be fun. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Like I said, when you Google it, you'll find out. It's Cape May, not Cap May, but yes. That's where I like to go. But this was down in Wildwood, actually. So, because when my brother goes, he likes to go to Wildwood, so we went to Wildwood.
Huh.
But, anyways, that being said, we're at the top of the hour. Although I really got to ask Jay, what medication you on today?
What's that?
What medication you on?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
Why does it look like I am?
Yeah, I mean,
well,
you
it
sound
looks
like
like maybe an edible or something,
right?
man.
You
And
sound
you
like
look,
you're half in the bag, man.
you do look a little half in the bag. And I'm not trying to I'm like, well, maybe he took like a Vicodin or something like
I mean,
that.
I
You know what
understand it's a Friday, but I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying I
Not at all.
on your level
Yeah,
today.
exactly. I'm like, I want some of that. You know, like maybe I need to get some of that edible, whatever.
I didn't realize this was the West Coast mimosa show. I would have done it.
Listen, man.
That is
They
something
told me
you
it
should
was
definitely
in
do.
the mail.
The drunk show.
Yeah, like I'm in.
Exactly.
Not opposed to it.
And yes, I would do paintballing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
I would
tons of fun.
paintball without a problem. Yeah, exactly. I'm game for that.
Oh, I would definitely paintballing is a lot. Except I hate when you surrender and they still pelt you. Come on, man.
Well, I don't
Why
surrender.
do you say that like it sounds like you surrender and it's your own team shooting you?
I sometimes will just give myself up and just keep going.
Just on your way out, just
Yeah.
spraying.
Yeah. Hey man, you're out. Yeah. or what's better yet, when you see somebody who's like who can handle it. Obviously, I would do like drive-by paintballings. You know?
Oh.
Be like, yo, buddy. He turn and look. Yeah, that's always fun. You get arrested for that, but it's fun.
Definitely.
You know, they try
Again,
to say
we
no.
don't-
You can't do
this
that.
panel does not always endorse
Basically-
everything that is said upon
Basically, if
this
you tune into the
show.
show for the last 20 minutes, we generally talk about stuff you should not do. Yesterday it was mailing drugs. Today it's doing drive-bys with paintball.
Paintball drive-bys.
That's right. So if you are trying to make good life decisions, you should probably stop watching about the halfway mark.
When you see the commercials and there.
Listen, if you know your friends, please make sure you don't drink. Come on.
I mean, right?
So,
awesome. Have a great weekend, guys.
We're going to have a Memorial Day weekend, so everybody have a great holiday. We will not be on Monday. We will be back on Tuesday, hopefully with everybody intact and stuff like that. We won't have StatGuy. StatGuy said he is
on vacation.
Yeah, he's going to go watch somebody else get married, so good for him. Down in Nashville, nonetheless. So he's going to.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
The bachelorette capital of the world is in Nashville, where they all go line dancing. So exactly. That's exactly it, Paul.
Yep.
Something else I'm not supposed to be doing, but doing anyway.
Pretty much.
But anyways, if you're around Ridley Park tomorrow, come out to the Wiffle Ball Challenge. We're going to be, like I said, with John Kruk and Mickey Morandini. Plus, you never know who else is going to be here. So if you're in Philadelphia watching this, definitely stop on by. It's going to be a lot of fun. And otherwise, we will see you on Tuesday. Everybody, have a great weekend and good holiday. And do not get too drunk.
That's right.
See you soon.